Monday. Speaking of Adam Schefter, with Wild Card Weekend kicking off in 2 days, some names on the injury reports worth updating. So, Adam, let's start with Baltimore with some news on Zay Flowers.
Well, Dan, moments ago, the Ravens injury report came out, and Zay Flowers officially was ruled out. He's out of the wild card matchup. John Harbaugh said he did not expect him to play due to the knee injury that he suffered last week against the Cleveland Browns. My understanding is that if the Ravens were to advance, that Flowers would have a realistic chance to be back for the divisional playoff round, but he will not play in the wild card round. He is out of this game. But the Ravens will have their defensive quarterback, Kyle Hamilton, who had missed some practice time this week, but is off the injury report and good to go for the matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens defense is better when he's out there, and he'll be out there on Saturday. And the Pittsburgh Steelers also are expected to have Cameron Hayward, who had missed some practice time due to a bout he had been experiencing with the flu since last Friday. Said today he's been better and better and better, was listed as a full participant in practice today. And Dan, I think it's safe to say that Cam Hayward would not be missing a playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens over a bout with the flu.
I would think not, Adam, and they are going to need him against Lamar Jackson, who may have just had his best season ever as a passer. Remember, passer rating is a stat that only accounts for a quarterback's passing, not what he does with his legs. Lamar posted a 119.6 passer rating this season. That is the fourth highest by any quarterback in a single season in NFL history. And remember, that has nothing to do with him as a runner, just as a passer. Almost 2.5 points better than the passer rating Tom Brady posted in 2007, Dan Orlovsky, when he became the first quarterback in history to throw 50 touchdowns. So tell us, what's making Lamar so good this year?
A lot. I think the growth and the development of him being a proactive rather than reactive passer is a big deal. Also, them organizing some of their pass game concepts. One of the things that Baltimore loves to do is they want a lot of their pass games to be, one, full progression, so the coverage doesn't necessarily matter. They get up there and read it out. And two, everything flowing into Lamar's vision. Now, what does that mean when it comes to everything flowing into Lamar's vision? They want concepts or routes where you have a flat route to the sideline right now, and then you get a corner route going vertical, and then you get a shallow route, and then a deep over. So you see how everything is just, once you start to the left side of the field, everything as you work across the field is your vision. It's number 1 to number 2, then it's really number 3 to 4. So if you start somewhere, you just constantly work through off of what the defenders do. So I love this for 2 reasons. Number 1, there's an efficient throw, and then there's an explosive throw. The efficient throw, go to the flat right now. There's always a completion in this offense, and when it comes to that read, Lamar Jackson understands that corner tells him what to do. If that corner comes up and he's wildly aggressive, he'll throw the corner route. And if this corner, no matter who, the flat defender, if he gets depth, then Lamar throws that ball right now and it's completion. On this play, that corner's going to get a little nosy. And so as that flat or out route goes here and this corner jumps up, great. Now Lamar Jackson understands I want to throw that corner route. This is what I love about the growth of their pass game. Bateman's running the corner route right here. And a lot of times a young player thinks he has to go inside right now to get this safety to drive up. But then you lose leverage, meaning Bateman's already outside that safety. Don't need in, just continue to go to the corner route and trust that Lamar Jackson is going to see you. This is beautiful because the touch of the throw is ideally perfect. Now, let's live in a world where Lamar wants to throw that corner route and this safety takes it away because he's the only guy, once that flat defender takes that shallow, to take it away. Well, then Lamar would work then up to number 3 and number 4. But the question everybody at home should be asking is, well, if that corner's responsible for a certain area, why is he jumping up to take likely on this flat route? And this is where the growth of Lamar Jackson is, right? This corner has vision on Lamar. He's sitting there, it's zone. He's looking through likely right to Lamar Jackson. What I love is Lamar Jackson knows, yeah, I can take that easy 5-yard out because there's an efficient throw there, or I could be proactive with my eyes and really stare at likely to get that corner to say, oh, Lamar is going to throw the ball to him with his feet and eyes set there, and that's what's going to open up Bateman on the corner route. Watch the corner. He immediately jumps up. There's no reason for him to do that other than Lamar staring there with a little bit of a shoulder and almost pump fake, and that opens up Bateman on the corner route, and then the ability to throw the ball absolutely flawlessly in that vacated zone is perfect. That's a different Lamar. That he didn't do that consistently in those early years, but the growth and the ability and the capacity to do that on a consistent basis, that's why those statistical passing numbers have just skyrocketed.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. And I don't think a lot of people have their arms around how much he's advanced as a passer.
It's huge.
Just this season.
It's huge.
After winning MVP last year. Jason, he will not, however, have his top receiver, Zay Flowers, for this game, as we heard from Adam Schefter. So how does that change the way the Pittsburgh Steelers can defend the Baltimore passing attack?
Well, it changes a lot because Zay Flowers makes up a ton of their offense. And that's not just the down the field passing with those deep in cuts. It's also part of the motions and shifts that set up a lot of the run game for the Baltimore Ravens. And he's the gadget guy. He's the one that they want to throw those quick screens to and get the ball in his hands. For the Steelers, without Zay Flowers being out there, Joey Porter Jr. now can follow Rashad Bateman all around the field because the Steelers are going to play single high. They did it 83% and 79% in both the games that they played against the Baltimore Ravens. They know they have to get more people around the line of scrimmage to stop the run. With no Zay Flowers out there, you feel really good about your matchups on the outside. The question mark for the Steelers is, how do you match up with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely? Yeah. I would imagine the Ravens go more 12 personnel without Zay Flowers in the lineup and force him to have to match up, whether it's Deshaun Elliott, Patrick Queen, or Peyton Wilson. Those guys have to match up with those two tight ends and get the ball in Likely's hands early and often because he can be your catch and run guy.
J-Mac, I think you hit the mark on the head, man. I think it's not only Likely and Mark Andrews, but I could see them using Patrick Ricard and Charlie Kolar as well. So while I do understand that Flowers' injury matters, there's 4 different tight ends that Baltimore can use to create different matchups and get into different offensive packages, both run and pass. I do think it becomes a heavy tight end game.
Huge divisional rivalry renewed in Saturday night's Wild
GM coming together at the same time, work together on the same page, and move forward in the same direction. They did not feel that Tom Telesco obviously would be somebody that would be as appealing to some of the head coaching candidates that they're speaking with. They're speaking with Ben Johnson in the coming days here, interviewing him for the head coaching job, and we'll see what transpires here. But the Raiders have made a handful of changes here. Meanwhile, one of the leading coaching candidates, Mike Vrabel, spent today in New England meeting with Patriots officials about their vacant head coaching job. Many people believe that Vrabel is if not the favorite to become the next head coach of the New England Patriots, but he's also got a lot of interest. He's scheduled to speak to other teams as well, and so we'll see whether or not the Patriots can get a deal done with Vrabel. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll interviewing today with the Chicago Bears. Carroll has been interested in getting back into the league after taking off this past season, missed coaching, wants to get back to it, and met with the Bears. Obviously, Caleb Williams went to USC. Pete Carroll succeeded at USC, and the Bears are waiting to see whether there's a match to be made there by talking today with Pete Carroll.
73 years old, Carroll would be the oldest coach in the league if he got the job after that year off. Much more from Adam later in the show. Pete Carroll